The kitchen is quieter than the rest of the house. I pour a glass of water, hands trembling, the laughter still echoing. Then I hear a voice behind me, calm, unfamiliar yet strangely known. "You work at the bookstore on 5th Street, don't you?" he asks softly. I turn and see a man with gray-streaked hair and tired, kind eyes. For a moment, I can't place him until his smile gives him away. "Uncle Min," I whisper, the name tasting like a secret. He nods, a faint grin tugging at the corners of his mouth. "Didn't expect to be invited tonight," he says, eyes drifting to the noise. "Neither did I admit, my voice low, almost swallowed by the air. He studies me, noticing the name tag still pinned to my shirt. "So, what are you working toward, Lynn?" The question lands heavy, unexpected, like a hand pressing my shoulder. No one asked me that in years. I open my mouth, then close it again, unsure what to say. "I work a lot," I finally manage, and it sounds so small. He nods slowly, waiting, giving me space to fill the silence. "I'm taking online business classes," I add, embarrassed. "I've got about a year left before finishing my degree." His gaze sharpens, not judging, only curious. "Why business?" he asks, leaning on the counter. "Because it's practical," I say quickly. "Because I can't afford dreams that don't pay rent." He chuckles, not mocking, just understanding. "Your father always thought practicality was the only virtue," he says. I look down at my shoes, ashamed of how true that feels. He reaches into his coat pocket and takes out a worn leather wallet. From it, he pulls a simple business card and slides it toward me. "Sterling and Co.," I read aloud, tracing the embossed letters. "Operations consulting," he says. "I started it 20 years ago. We help companies run better systems." I nod, unsure where this is going. Then he adds quietly, "We're opening an internship next month." My heart jumps before my mind can catch up. "Me," I stammer, almost laughing at the absurdity. He doesn't smile this time. "You've been managing 2 jobs, studying at night, organizing chaos daily. That's real operational skill. You just don't call it that yet." His words linger in the air, heavier than anything my father ever said. I stare at the card again, the golden letters glinting under the light. "It pays decently," he adds, "and you'd learn more than any class can teach." I shake my head, fear creeping in. I've never worked in an office. I don't even own a proper suit. He smiles, gentle and sure. "None of that matters as much as effort. Apply if you want a real chance." He pats my shoulder once, then turns toward the hallway. The noise from the party floods back in as he disappears. I stand alone, staring at the card, my reflection trembling in the water glass. Outside, someone starts a new toast for my brother. Inside, something different stirs quietly within me, possibility. The café smells of roasted beans and rain-soaked pavement. I sit by the window, checking my phone every few seconds. Uncle Min arrives right on time, his coat damp, eyes bright. "Thanks for meeting me," he says, taking the seat across from mine. I nod, nervous, fingers tracing circles on my coffee cup. "I wasn't sure you were serious about that internship," I admit quietly. He smiles. "I never joke about potential." The waitress brings 2 black coffees, steam rising between us. "So," he begins, "what do you want, Lynn?" It sounds simple, but the words hit like a challenge. I've never had the luxury of wanting, only surviving. "I want stability," I answer slowly, "a life that feels like progress." He leans back, considering. "And what are you willing to risk for that?" The question burns. I think of the bookstore, the café shifts, the rent. "I can't afford to risk much," I whisper. "Then you'll never move," he says calmly. "Security is just fear in disguise." I look at him, startled by the bluntness in his tone. He stirs his coffee, eyes distant. "Your father used to chase comfort, too. He called me reckless for leaving the family business." He pauses, a faint smile touching his lips. "But comfort never built anything worth remembering. I stare at the table, words lodged in my throat. You see systems where others see chaos, he continues. That's not something you can teach. That's instinct. My cheeks flush. It's just habit. I need order to function. He nods, satisfied. Good, we need that at Sterling and Co. My heart skips again. You're really offering me this. I'm offering you a door, he says. You're the one who must walk through. Silence settles between us, thick and alive. The rain outside turns to a steady rhythm against the glass. I imagine quitting both jobs, writing a resignation letter, starting over. It feels impossible. It feels like breathing after holding my breath for years. How much does it pay? I ask finally, voice trembling. 22 an hour, regular hours, room to grow, he answers. The number sounds unreal, like a dream with shape and weight. He finishes his coffee and stands, leaving a few bills on the table. The deadline's Friday, he says. Don't waste time doubting yourself. After he leaves, I sit alone, staring at the card again. My reflection in the window looks different, sharper, awake. That night, I open my laptop, rewrite my resume 5 times. Assistant at Cornerstone Books, barista at Café Luna. Online courses in business management. The words look fragile but real. I hover over the submit button, my pulse loud in my ears. All the years of playing safe flash before me, missed chances, quiet defeats. Then I press send. The screen blinks, and something shifts inside me. For the first time, fear and hope feel like the same thing. I close my laptop, whisper to the empty room. This time, I'm choosing possibility. The elevator doors open with a quiet chime. I step inside, clutching my worn briefcase like a shield. The others smell of perfume, cologne, and confidence. Their badges gleam. Mine still says visitor. Floor 28, operations. My reflection in the elevator glass looks too small for this place. When the doors part, a woman with silver-streaked hair greets me. Diane Keller, she says briskly. You must be Lynn. I nod too quickly, my voice caught in my throat. You're early, she observes, glancing at her watch. I wanted to prepare, I say, unsure if it's the right answer. Something flickers in her expression. Approval, maybe curiosity. Good, most don't bother. Orientation starts in 15. The room fills with interns from big universities. Harvard, Yale, Wharton. They laugh easily, comparing programs and summer internships. I sip burnt coffee from a paper cup, pretending not to listen. When they ask where I studied, I say online, and the conversation ends. I write notes anyway, just to keep my hands busy. After orientation, a thin man leads me through a maze of cubicles. Desk 6, he says, pointing to a beige box with an old computer. Your first task, organize the client database. The folder he drops on my desk is heavy with chaos. Hundreds of mismatched spreadsheets, half-finished notes, scribbles. By Friday, he adds and disappears. I stare at the papers, throat tight, panic creeping in. The others type easily, earbuds in, worlds apart. I pull a legal pad closer and start sketching patterns. Names, dates, gaps, missing links. It feels like solving a puzzle. Hours blur into lines of color-coded notes. Blue for active clients, red for lost ones, green for potential. My system begins to take shape, one column at a time. By lunch, my eyes ache. I eat a sandwich at my desk, too nervous to join anyone. Whispers float nearby. She's the one related to the CEO, someone says. Probably here for show. The words sting more than I expect. I want to tell them I've earned this, but I don't. Instead, I keep working. The office empties as evening settles. The janitor vacuums around my feet, nodding kindly. When the clock hits 9, my spreadsheet glows with order. Rows align, formulas work, the chaos finally tamed. I save the file 3 times, afraid it might vanish. The night guard looks surprised as I walk out. First day, huh? Already burning overtime. I smile faintly, just catching up. Outside, the city hums, 1,000 lights against the dark. The air smells of possibility and exhaustion. At home, I fall into bed without changing. My phone buzzes once, a message from Uncle Min. How was your first day? I stare at the screen, too tired to type. Instead, I whisper to the ceiling. I didn't fail. Sleep comes quickly, carrying the quiet pride of survival. Morning arrives too soon. My phone glows with a new email from Diane. Subject, see me in my office. My stomach twists as I read it twice. Did I make a mistake? I rush to the office early, heart pounding like a drum. She's already there, coffee in hand, sharp eyes waiting. Sit, she says simply. I perch on the edge of the chair, hands hidden in my lap. Security said you left after 10 last night, she begins. Yes, I admit. I was working on the database. Show me. My fingers shake as I open the file. The screen fills with my color-coded system, sorted columns, patterns. Diane studies it silently, scrolling, eyes narrowing in concentration. What's this section? She asks, pointing to a highlighted column. Client retention patterns, I explain softly. Most who leave do so within 3 months of repeated complaints. She pauses, impressed despite herself. You found this overnight. It reminded me of customer returns at the bookstore, I say. Same logic, different data. She nods once, thoughtful. The Miller account meeting is at 10. You'll sit in. I blink, not sure I heard right. Me, in a client meeting. Don't speak unless spoken to, she adds, but listen carefully. Her tone leaves no room for doubt. At 10 sharp, we enter a glass-walled conference room. The executives talk fast, acronyms flying like arrows. I take notes, my pen barely keeping up. When they mention declining engagement, I glance at my charts. The pattern matches perfectly. Diane notices my expression and nods subtly. After the meeting, she stops me in the hallway. You did well, she says. I almost forget how to breathe. It's the first genuine praise I've heard in years. Back at my desk, a coworker smirks. Heard you're Diane's new favorite, she says. Her tone is sweet and sharp at once. I just smile, too tired to defend myself. That evening, I stay late again, refining the data. Each click feels like proof that I belong here. At 9:00, the lights dim automatically, and I'm still typing. My reflection in the monitor looks stronger somehow. Before I leave, I stick a yellow note on the corner of my screen. 3 words in blue ink, I belong here. The next morning, Diane stops by my desk briefly. We're implementing your system company-wide, she says. My throat tightens. Good work, Lynn. The words echo in my chest long after she's gone. At lunch, my phone buzzes with a message from Uncle Min. Heard from Diane, proud of you. I smile for the first time that day. 6 months later, my company profile lists me as analyst. My name underlined, my work recognized. The girl who once hid in a doorway now stands in the light. For the first time, success feels like something I built, not borrowed. 6 months pass like a breath I didn't realize I was holding. My name appears on the company site, under top contributors. Messages flood in, most from people I barely know. Then I see one that makes my pulse slow. Sweetheart, we're so proud of you, my mother writes. The words shine, but they feel empty. She didn't call when I moved, or when I finished my degree. Now suddenly, I exist again. A second message arrives minutes later. We'd love to have dinner this Sunday. Your father insists. I type back, I'll check my schedule. Sunday comes too soon. The house looks smaller than I remember. My mother opens the door, perfume thick in the air. Lynn, you look wonderful, she exclaims, scanning my plain dress. Inside, the table gleams with crystal and polished silverware. My father stands at the head, smiling as if nothing ever broke. "There she is," he says, "a rising star." My brother Kwang lounges nearby, phone in hand. "The prodigal sister returns," he jokes. I force a smile. I've been busy working. Dinner begins, words floating like rehearsed lines. "So, Sterling and Co.," my father says, cutting his steak carefully. "You must be learning so much. Your uncle's a brilliant man." He doesn't ask how I am, only what I can offer. Kwang leans forward suddenly, eyes bright. "I've been building a finance app," he says. "It helps students budget." "That's wonderful," I reply politely. My father clears his throat. "Your brother could use guidance, maybe an introduction to your uncle." The air freezes between us. My fork pauses halfway to my mouth. "I don't mix family and business," I say softly. My mother's smile stiffens. "Oh, Lynn, don't be dramatic. We're just asking for help." I fold my napkin slowly, choosing my words carefully. "I worked hard for this job. I won't trade it for favors." Silence stretches, long and sharp. Kwang laughs nervously, trying to break it. "Come on, sis, it's just networking." "Then you can build your own," I answer. My father's jaw tightens, his pride wounded. "We only want what's best for everyone." I stand, my chair scraping softly against the floor. "Then let me decide what's best for me." No one speaks as I gather my things. The chandelier light flickers over their stunned faces. Outside, the night air feels colder but honest. Driving home, I replay every word, every breath I held. The next morning, I tell Uncle Min everything. He listens quietly, then nods. "Boundaries aren't walls," he says. "They're definitions." That night, I sit at my desk and begin typing. Each sentence steady, deliberate, final. I will not use professional relationships as family currency. If we rebuild, it must be from respect, not convenience. I sign my name, take a deep breath, and hit send. The screen glows softly, reflecting my face, calm, certain, free. A year later, the city lights outside my window pulse like quiet applause. My apartment feels alive, filled with small signs of growth. A real kitchen, a desk by the window, shelves lined with business books. The jar once labeled, "Someday," now holds fresh tulips, not coins. I smile every time I see it, proof that someday arrived. At work, I lead meetings instead of taking notes. My ideas are discussed, not dismissed. Diane trusts me with projects that once terrified me. Uncle Min drops by my office sometimes, no longer as a mentor, but as an equal. "Proud of you," he says simply, and it's enough. Outside the office, I start something new. A mentorship program for students who work while studying. Each session reminds me of who I used to be. I see my younger self in their tired smiles and quiet determination. "Don't wait for permission," I tell them. "Start with what you have." The first time one of them lands an internship, I nearly cry. It feels like the circle closing, pain turned into purpose. My phone buzzes one evening. Mom's name lights up the screen. "Coffee this Sunday," her message reads. "Just us." I pause, then type, "Sure." Progress, I've learned, comes in small steps. Sunday morning, she arrives early, holding a photo of me as a child. "I found this," she says, her voice softer than I remember. For once, there are no excuses, no comparisons. Just two women learning how to begin again. After she leaves, I sit in the quiet and realize I'm no longer angry. Forgiveness, I think, is a boundary too. It keeps peace inside. At night, I prepare for tomorrow's presentation. My first keynote speech, in front of executives and interns alike. The topic is resilience, how systems and people adapt under pressure. I rehearse the closing line until it feels like truth. Sometimes strength isn't loud. Sometimes it's just choosing to try again. Before bed, I check my email one last time. A message from Diane waits at the top. "Committee approved your promotion. Operations manager. Congratulations." I stare at the words, heart racing. The girl who once hid behind the doorway now runs the floor. Another notification follows, a text from Mom. Your father wants to have dinner next week. No expectations. I smile, a quiet acceptance blooming in my chest. Maybe this is what balance looks like. The next morning, I stand on my balcony, watching sunrise paint the skyline. The city hums below, steady, awake, unstoppable. I breathe deeply, the air cool and full of promise. Inside, my presentation slides glow on the desk. Building What Lasts, the title reads. I whisper the words again, steady, sure. Because what lasts isn't luck or legacy, it's the courage to begin anew. And for the first time, I know I've built something that will. The conference room is bright with morning light. I stand before the screen, pulse steady, voice calm. Colleagues fill the seats, faces expectant, ready to listen. Thank you for coming, I begin, meeting each gaze with purpose. Today, we talk about building systems that last, inside and out. Slides shift behind me, numbers and progress, but I speak of people. Of nights spent working late, of failures that became frameworks. Of learning that structure means nothing without self-worth. When I finish, the room is silent for one perfect second. Then applause rises, real and grounding. Across the table, Deanne smiles, eyes bright with pride. Near the door, Uncle Min gives a small nod, respectful and sure. I exhale, the weight of years leaving quietly. Later, I walk outside, sunlight spilling over glass towers. My phone buzzes, a message from Mom. Dinner tonight, just family. I type back, I'll be there. For once, it's not obligation, it's choice. The city hums around me, alive and endless. I lift my face to the sky, feeling its warmth. Not the light I chased, but the one I made.